This mid-morning, let's discover the hidden wisdom of the Heart Sutra. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. Welcome to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is brought to you by the good-hearted folks who help support this channel on Patreon. This mid-morning, we could chant and meditate and enjoy a lesson or two. But first, if you love Star Wars and you wish to meditate as transformatively as Yoda on Dagobah under the guidance of Qui-Gon Jinn, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell. Good news. If at any point during this morning's live stream you have a specific question about Buddhist meditation or Buddhist philosophy or how to apply them to your life, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window on the right-hand side of the screen. So I'm going to tap button 5. There are many translations of the Heart Sutra. I have adapted and amplified an amalgam of other people's translations. I hope you find this comprehensive or comprehensible. So we're just going to start with the first page. It is said that Quan Chi Yin Pusa, an archetype of enlightened compassion, while moving in the deep peace of perfect understanding. Let's start right here. Quan Chi Yin is known by many names, including Kuan Yin, Quan Te Yam, Quan Zien, Bosatsu, Kanan, Avalokiteshvara, and in Tibet, Chenrezig. Zik. The question is not, should we believe that this fully enlightened entity is real, nor is it, should we believe absolutely that it's not real. That's what I would call, that's what us big kids would call a false choice logical fallacy. Anytime you believe anything, you leave the realm of flexibility and enter the realm of rigidity, which is a quick way to avoid our own Buddha nature, and I wouldn't recommend it. Better to think of Kuan Yin as an archetype of enlightened compassion. Why would we work with archetypes? Because of evolution. Vertebrate life on this planet evolved in such a way. Our distant ancestors evolved the capacity to perceive, and after a significant number of generations, they also evolved the ability to recall previous perceptions and anticipate or imagine future perceptions. And that laid the groundwork. That created the metaphoric scaffolding for our brain in all its complex messiness. Therefore, we evolved to think symbolically. And that is why working with an archetype or any other type of metaphor could be beneficial. The second and final couplet we're going to look at is the following. While moving in the deep peace of perfect understanding. Let us discuss the Buddha's Eightfold Path. The first fold of the Eightfold Path is right view, or contemplating the right view. The seventh and eighth folds of the Eightfold Path are mindfulness and meditation. These two sets, contemplation and meditation, have a reciprocal relationship. They can benefit each other. Far too many people are taught that they must first attain a PhD level of philosophy and metaphysics before they can ever meditate. And that's a great mistake. If our contemplation is rooted in mindfulness and meditation, if it's like a kid on a skateboard riding the momentum, it's going to be very productive. If, however, our contemplation is completely humanistic and abstract and theoretical, it's going to create more problems than it solves. And that's so. The basic message of this first page of the Heart Sutra is this: if you want to be like Kuan Yin, make sure that your contemplation is grounded in perception and relaxation. Now let's turn our attention. Whoops, wrong button. Haha, let's tap button 9. Okay. We come now to secular contemplation, mindfulness, and meditation. My adaptation of ancient meditation manuals. Let's begin by exercising the neural pathways responsible for empathy and enthusiasm by chanting a concise recitation of bodhicitta and refuge. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. May I liberate all beings by relying on the three jewels. We begin with Karuna and Tilakkhana, or compassion and the three marks of reality, which really sound like a rock band, don't they? If you're as old as me, you may remember Josie and the Pussycats. This is not at all like that. We're going to perform these contemplations to help us to circumstantially let go. You see, the Buddha was fond of grappling with life in terms of the four bases of mindfulness: the circumstantial, the physical, the interpersonal, and the mental. We begin with the circumstantial. We begin with the first of four contemplations. Where we consider universal stress, or dukkha. We're going to play with a rhetorical question, the first of three rhetorical questions. Now, rhetorical questions, by definition, are questions we ask without striving to answer. Now, to make it even more interesting, we're going to ask this question without trying to receive an answer or discover an answer. We're just playing with this question in harmony with our inhalation and our exhalation and our relaxation. And believe it or not, if you play along with me, if you practice along with me, you'll feel things shift, even with this simple exercise. During our inhalation, we recite where. During exhalation, we recite stress. This is a very cryptic question. Where stress? There's no verb. But this helps us to be more aware of our stress and others' stress. If not intellectually, then viscerally. Let's begin. We come to the second of four contemplations, where we consider empathy for all beings, or karuna. So, recognizing the pervasive nature of stress, we now practice the built-in desire to soothe all beings' stress and their stressors in the most wonderful way. Now, we might not be able to do that, but the very fact that we cherish that desire is beneficial. Now, some people will say, dude, man, I thought Buddhism was about freedom from desires. Well, the second fold of the Eightfold Path is right desire, or right wish, or right aspiration. So there are good desires, there are wholesome desires. Wishing that the hungry be fed, the naked be clothed, the sick be healed, the homeless be housed. These are worthy, loving wishes. This is not an affirmation. We're not trying to believe something. We're not trying to visualize something. We're not trying to emote something. We're not trying to work magic. We're simply playing with words and harmony with our breathing. And for some weird reason that seems to strengthen the neural pathways responsible for empathy. Whoops. This brings us to the third of four contemplations, where we consider impermanence, or anicca, with the two-word question, what change? Once again, this is rhetorical. Yes, welcome to the lazy bastard path of enlightenment. So we're not playing with mere abstractions. We have evolved to perceive stressors as a survival mechanism. So we are keenly set up to notice our stressors. So when we are asking what change, the inference occurring in the 3-pound supercomputer between our ears is whatever stressor we're experiencing right now, how could that bad boy be impermanent? We come now to the spooky exercise. We contemplate not self or anatta. So here's where most people get tripped up. They look at it literally or they look at it metaphysically. It's not supposed to be some great truth. It was only supposed to ever be a figure of speech. Here's how it works. You know that thing that you're stressed about? Yeah. How can I not know it? Well, the trick is to let go of it as if it was as non-graspable as a vast empty void. As if it was as non-graspable as the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which, although tantalizing to the eye, is non-graspable to the touch. That thing you're stressed about, let's let go of it as if it wasn't you. That circumstance, that relationship, that body, that thought, what if that thing was as non-graspable as if it was not you? We're not saying it isn't you. We're just playing with... Here's how it works. Every time we breathe in, we are wired to notice what's going on because of our sympathetic nervous system. Every time we exhale, we're wired to physically relax and mentally release because of our parasympathetic nervous system. So we are letting go of whatever we're noticing as if it was not us. That's it. Play with these words in harmony with your inhalation and exhalation with the only objective of being simply getting better and better at letting go. So with me, we're not saying there is no me. We're saying whatever we notice, that's not me. That plant over there, that's not me. That statue over there, that's not me. My front door, that's not me. My left nostril, that's not me. We're not saying we have to believe it. We're just playing with an idea in harmony with our autonomic nervous system. So in other words, the inhalation we're asking, hey, is that me? And the exhalation is, nope. So, not self is not something to be believed in or understood. It's just an exercise to play with. No different than push-ups or deep knee bends. So what we have just done is used 4 exercises to harness the wild wildebeest that is our innate turmoil. And now we're going to set that aside and progress to some increasingly subtler and subtler things to notice and release. We're departing from our circumstantial base of mindfulness and now exploring our physical base of mindfulness as we continue with Kaya Sati's only set of 4 preliminary meditations to center our bodies. We're going to play with the ridiculously concise rhetorical question, how long? Instructing our subconscious to merely notice how long our breaths are without controlling them, just noticing it. That's it. This is our first exercise exploring emptiness. By exploring the length of our breath, we're inherently letting go and experiencing the non-graspability of that breath. Our second rhetorical question is how short? And this is going to be our first taste of subtle bliss, subtle pleasure, sensations that are not painful. We expand the sphere of our awareness from just our respiratory system to the entirety of our body with the two-word meditation: feel, form. If you've just joined, welcome. When you have specific questions about Buddhist meditation or Buddhist philosophy or how to apply them, simply type your question in great detail in the chat window on the right-hand side of the screen. During the inhalation, please silently and mentally recite the verb feel. And during the exhalation, please silently and mentally recite the monosyllabic synonym for body, which is form. So we're not actively studying our body. and writing notes in a laboratory memo pad. We're practicing passively. We're not choosing how deep or quick to breathe. We're not actively noticing every minute detail of our body. We're simply playing with words and noticing their effect upon our mind. Our final meditation this morning, we're going to allow our bodies to tranquilly relax. As we breathe in, we're going to silently and mentally recite form. As we breathe out, we're going to silently and mentally recite the verb ease. to seal this mid-morning practice with a bit of the old wishing love. May everyone be free from misery, may everyone be happy, may no one be separated from the happiness. May everyone have balance from the tyranny of hating, craving, and clinging freed. If you feel that I have earned it, you could type something in the chat window. You could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could share it with a friend. You could even help support this channel on Patreon. In approximately 3¼ hours, I would very much like to return to lead to this afternoon's lesson and meditation. Until then, may you and yours be happy and healthy. And if you are as geeky as me, this is the way.